If you knew what your true yes was and what your true no was in all areas of your life, would you be able to choose faster and easier? What futures would those choices create? Everyone is capable of connecting to their bodies in a way to have more exuberant and joyful living now and in the future. Now, here is your host of Choosing a Different Future with Siris.
Hi everyone, I am Siris Raquel Rivas-Verdejo and you're joining me for Choosing a Different Future with Siris. Today's topic is coming out, and you're going to hear me sing it, I'm coming out, every once in a while. So just, if you don't like that, just cover your ears. But you've been forewarned. Consider yourself forewarned. And today we're going to be talking about all the different kinds of coming out. But first, I want you to know that I am a family and child coach. So we're definitely going to be talking about some questions that have been sent in and my own experiences with having parents and educators ask me questions about children that are coming out to them, or how they can empower and support kids, how they can come out to their family members. And then on top of that, I am a body and relationship coach, which means that I connect with my body and also empower and facilitate for you to connect with yours so you can have more ease with your body. And man, have I really been tapping into my toolbox the last couple of weeks, because I am not at 100%. So thank you for all of the kind messages and words that you've been sending. Better every single day. And I'm using all these tools that I invite you to use and that I provide sessions for on myself. And it makes all the world of difference. Anything that can create some more ease and some more space for our bodies with everything going on and everything we're choosing to create and deal with is such a gift. And so the other aspect of this as well is I've created a body process that people can run on themselves or others, called the Living and Dying Body Process, where it invites you to have true exuberant living your way, where you can tap into your unique gifts and capacities with living. And also for you to undo and let go of all this stuff that you may be picking up on from other people, about their sadness, their depression, their anxiety, their fears, their phobias, maybe family stuff that you've been holding on to, past traumas, and it dissipates out of your body in this really, really gentle energy. And so we actually have some classes coming up where people get to learn how to give and receive these types of energies. And the first one is this month on January 28th and 29th. Though it's called the Awakening class. It awakens these energies within you. And it's a 2-part class, half day on the 28th, half day on the 29th. The information for that is on empoweringlightlanguage.com/living and dying. And we also have the next class after that is in June. So if you don't want to wait until June, jump on to join us in this class. And it'll be live in person in Charlotte, North Carolina, in a private residence. So the address is sent as soon as you register, or you can join us live streaming through Zoom. And we have ways for you to connect. Don't worry, you'll still be able to have your manuals and all the information that you need to participate actively in the class. And our Being a Different Possibility for Children and Family monthly calls will be starting Monday, January 30th at 1 p.m. Eastern North America. I think that makes it something like 6 p.m. in the UK, 7 p.m. in the rest of Europe, like Paris and Italy, things like that. And then add 2 more hours for different parts of Russia and things like that. For Pacific, obviously you just subtract 3 hours. So that makes it, if I'm doing my math correctly, I think 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Pacific that day. And there'll be audio recordings for anyone that's registered to join and you can't make it live. And also, I love the audio recordings because it's quite a bit of information and you'll want to listen to it over and over again and refer to it as you're implementing the things that we discuss. But we're going to be talking about different themes each month around being a different possibility for the children that you work with, for the children that you love, and for your inner children. Okay, so really much excited for that. That's one of the things that we're starting in the new year, and it's based on the concepts of my Being a Different Possibility for Children coaching program. Now we also continue to have the Expansive Energies group. We have a new theme for this month. It's still being voted on, so I can't announce it quite yet. But if you want to actually join the voting process and join the group, you can go to empoweringlightlanguage.com/expansive energies. Make sure you have those two E's in the middle. And as soon as you register, you will get refunded the first month free, so that you can explore these energies and play around with it and see if this group self-care sessions contribute to you. What does it create for you? But it is $45 a month to have these two 45-minute group sessions where we play around with all these different nurturing energies and get coaching and facilitation together. We have great people in our group, and I'd love for you to join us and add your energy to the group. I think those are all of the announcements. Now, before we get into coming out, thank you so much for the messages on the Limitless Azúcar #1, the first call of our 6-part series, where me and my mom, Zulma Verdejo Carrion, we're starting to talk about when worlds collide. A message was sent in from Kimberly. Oh my God, the show with you and your mom was awesome. Learned some new things. Looking forward to the next show. Based on the time, most likely I'll catch the replays, but I adore and appreciate the relationship with you and your mom. It is so sweet. Thank you so much for chiming in and catching the replays. They're there available to all of us at any time. And don't feel bad if you can't join us live. As much as I love to have people in the live audience, no worries. We had a message from Linda. Oh my gosh, I really wish that my relationship with my daughter was the way that you have it with your mom. I'm implementing the things that you've mentioned, including some of the questions. And I really hope that I can have a closer and closer bond and relationship with my daughter. Thank you so much for being a beautiful example. Thank you, Linda, for your message. I really, really appreciate it. And part of what my mom and I are inviting people to do with these discussions is not to feel like they're less than, or it's really like all of families are different. And we can use these questions, we can use the tools that we mention in these series for whatever is going on with your family. But I invite you not to compare your family and your relationships to ours. I know this may be a bit of a challenging thing to do, but what that does is when you're comparing, you're actually contracting your world and blocking your awareness to what's uniquely possible with your family, and specifically given your message with your daughter. So play around with the tools, see which ones would be a contribution to what you'd like to create with your daughter and with the rest of your family, and let go the ones that won't really work. As you take action and use them, you'll see if it's going to work for your family or not. And don't worry, we're going to be talking about way more. So if only some of the ones we've mentioned work, there are going to be more that we're going to mention that may work instead. All right. Thank you for the messages, everyone. That is all the messages that I'm going to read out right now. The other ones were just really lovely, kind words in general, and chiming in saying that they were listening. So really appreciate that. So coming out. Let me go ahead and read the description for our episode today. I really want to do this justice. This is a really important topic for me on multiple levels, and you'll know why in a moment, maybe in the next 1 or 2 minutes. But coming out can take many forms and serve many purposes, from bumbling steps, oh yeah, and awkward stop-starts to annoying questions and avoidance of the pokes and prods of others. It can be empowering, challenging, and so much more. And it's important to look at where you are hiding, where you are showing up totally as yourself, and where modulation and nuance will create more to respect yourself, meet people where they are, and avoid the pitfalls of frustration, resentment, anger, and shame. We will be discussing varied types of coming out. Examples include conscious versus unintentional coming out, multicultural and ethnic, socio-economic, interpersonal, trauma-informed, and romantic. Any of those are possible if you're here in the live chat in the audience, go ahead and chime in and let me know which are the types of coming out, the types of situations that you would like me to address. Otherwise, I'm going to address the questions that are often asked of me, and I'm also going to address the questions that were sent in by email at empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. But this is going to be interesting. So let's buckle up, settle in. Make sure if you're listening with earbuds, you're in a quiet place so you can really be present with your body. Hi, bodies. I definitely think that my body was picking up on the interesting energies that can come with the idea of coming out of hiding, or of coming out for more of you. And that's the thing. Why bother coming out? Why bother acknowledging these different aspects of you? Well, one, for you to acknowledge this about yourself, for you to say, this is who I am, this is who I'd like to be, this is the life I'd like to have, these are the people I'd like to be around. And also, by holding on to this and tracking secrets, hiding information from certain people, especially if it's like willful, intentional hiding versus like, I just didn't even think about it, it's just not even a big deal for me, that can be an energy leak. That can be a place where you are letting energy get diverted in a place that you can then redirect it toward your joy, toward your business, toward the relationships you'd like to create. So those first two are a big reason why, for me, I started to come out, and I came out for many different reasons in many different ways, and still have to come out, not have to, choose to come out all the time. The first time I felt like I had to come out was when I moved here from Puerto Rico to the United States, and everyone kept asking me, what are you? Hopefully people aren't asked that question as much as I was asked that question at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, blah, blah, all the way into middle school. It's very rude. I don't recommend asking people in that way about what I now know was they were asking about my ethnicity and my nationality, depending on how my hair is, from braided to curly to straight, depending on my skin tone. People did not know what to make of me. They still don't. I'm beyond definition. And so they would say, what are you? And I would look at this and I'm like, I'm me. What is this about? And I had to look at how I'm going to present myself. What would I really like to say about this? And I had questions about with my family as well, like, who are we? What's going on? My dad's from the Dominican Republic, but was raised in Puerto Rico. My mom's Puerto Rican. She's very dark skinned. My dad's kind of a caramel skin tone. And I'm the lightest one in my family. They call me La Hincha, which is the pale one. And so that confusion was highlighted all the more coming to the United States. And at first I said, oh, I'm Hispanic, I'm Latina, or I'd say I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican. And it's evolved over time. And now, given the discussion in the world and the nuance of everything that I am and that I've experienced, usually, depending on the people, I say I'm a multiracial Latina. Because being Puerto Rican and Dominican, and also given all of the things heritage-wise that go into that, we have white Spanish blood. We have the African slaves. We have the Taino Indians of the islands of the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. So there really are a lot of races that are involved. But one of the things that I'd like us to look at is how we approach people about their identities, and making sure that we ask questions in a kind way. If people ask me, what are you? And they come at me with a different energy than like, ugh, like, what are you? Like, I'm this strange alien thing, which I often feel like I'm an alien anyway. And the other anyway. It's really not the best way to ask someone if you truly want to get to know them and build a connection and you don't want to unintentionally offend them. So I recommend actually saying, how do you identify? What's your family's background? Where were you born? Do you have any, like, what's your ethnicity? What's your nationality? Those more specific, like getting into what you really are asking for instead of this unconscious, very offensive and hurtful for many people way of asking about their ethnicity. Okay. And also let them change and evolve. Like, I had to go on a journey of what I was going to say about myself. And so let the kids say what they want at the beginning. And at that moment, that is absolutely what's true for them. And then let it evolve and shift as they get to know who they are and they get to navigate the world and see how the world responds to their identity. Okay. So it's time for our first break. I can't believe it's already here. My goodness. When we return, we will talk about other ways of coming out and other tools and resources that we can use to be more effective allies and also to have more ease if we're the one that is coming out. You are listening to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, with myself, Siris, on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we will continue to discuss coming out. We'll be right back.
Most people haven't been taught how to listen and partner with their bodies in order to create lives that include clarity, pleasure, ease, and connection. Tuning in to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and resources on how to use your awareness of bodies and energy to your advantage. Siris is a family and child coach and therapeutic energy worker who will guide you to get clear and acknowledge what's brilliant, magical, and a gift about you.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Choosing a Different Future show with Siris. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Connect with Siris through her website, empoweringlightlanguage.com. or send an email to empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. I am Siris Raquel Rivas-Verdejo on Choosing a Different Future with Siris. And today our show topic is coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I don't have the copyrights for that song, but I can't help singing it. It adds a joyfulness to coming out, and that's the idea. We want it to be joyful. So before I forget to mention, make sure you come and play with us on any of our over 450 platforms for podcasts and on any smart TV, any smart device. And you can connect with us through the ICN, the Inspired Choices Network app. And go ahead and also make sure that to subscribe and make sure that you're notified by all of our episodes, and you can join the email list by registering to any of our episodes moving forward. Our show is also brought to you by True Science Activated Liquid Collagen. Liquid collagen is a different, better collagen supplement. Your body's ability to produce its own collagen decreases significantly starting in your 20s. This daily boost of collagen and exclusive botanicals activates your body's collagen production, replenishes your depleting collagen levels, and maintains those levels by reducing enzymes that break down collagen. It also helps protect against the damaging effects of oxidative stress caused by free radicals. The proprietary ingredients in this delicious blend have been clinically shown to deliver visible support to skin health and hydration in 8 weeks or less. Your skin looks smoother, softer, and more even with improved elasticity. With more youthful looking skin, you'll glow with the true science confidence. You get real results that you can see and feel. And I actually really love that it tastes like apple juice. It's really easy to drink, unlike powders and pill forms of collagen. And it activates, not just supplements, but activates 10 out of the 20 collagens that our bodies need. So to get a $10 off of your first order, you can also, to get access to verified before and after photos, email us at empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com with the subject line liquid collagen. So $10 off your first order by emailing at empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com with the subject line liquid collagen. And you can go directly to the links of this episode to explore all of the different types of collagen products. Thank you so much to True Science Liquid Collagen. So why come out? We were talking about this during the break. The other thing too, I get questions about this all the time, so I'm going to go ahead and address this one. I get questions specifically about how do I tell people who I am and what I am if I'm not sure what that is yet. And I think that that's a great place to start by just saying, I'm figuring this out. I'm not sure how I'm identifying, but I'm considering these things. I'm considering these aspects of myself. I don't seem to fit into what other people expect related to this. And give people a heads up. I find that this is very helpful in multiple settings, from family to relationships to even professional dynamics, because sometimes people will unintentionally, as they're feeling blindsided by you coming out, they will say things that will be hurtful. But if you kind of give them a heads up and you're like, I can keep you posted, I'm figuring this out, I'm asking questions, I'm getting support about this, I'm going to therapy, I'm doing counseling, whatever this is, I have group sessions and support groups. As I'm navigating this, I just want you to know that this is something I'm dealing with. I think that can help people get on the on-ramp to having your back, and especially if there's someone that loves and cares about you. That being said, everybody's journey is different. And so the things that I mentioned, especially because we're talking about so many different types of coming out, it's going to be very personal and different for each person. When I was interacting with people about my ethnicity, it often in my early ages, and like in elementary school and middle school, was often in a very like resistant, combative way that I was having to have these conversations, because people were coming at me in a very like attack mode. And so I was still like, what's going on here? And so how do I come out? How do I let them know who I am? And I'm still even dealing with the fact that they're coming at me with this really aggressive energy. Okay. So really pay attention to your state, be connected with your body during these moments. I love empowering kids to be with their bodies and talking to them about how to be with their bodies. So if someone asks them about any aspect of their identity, they know that it's what stuff is actually about them and what stuff they might be picking up on from the people that are asking them these questions, or maybe not even asking questions, but are insulting them or bullying them and coming at them in a particular way. Now the next time, I'm going to have my notes here. Okay. The next time I was coming out, and it was actually about being bisexual, and it actually shifted into something else later on. I went to a residential high school. Maybe some of you know of it as a boarding school. We don't like calling it boarding school what I went to. I went to the Illinois Math and Science Academy. And from sophomore to senior year of high school, I was in a dorm. I had roommates. Each year was a different roommate. I was cooking for myself, but I also had access to a cafeteria. So very much like a lot of the experiences that people have in college, I started to have that my sophomore year of high school. And I had a high school boyfriend. I was dating this wonderful man. Hi, Rob, wherever you are in the world. We're still in touch. We're still good friends. And we dated all throughout high school. It was a lovely first true relationship for me. And so while I was dating him, I didn't think that I could be interested and attracted to anybody else. I thought that, just like many of us think, that monogamy is natural. And of course I'm monogamous. And of course that means then that I have blinders to being attracted to anyone else. Well, now I know that that's a lie, that even people who are monogamous and truly committed to those monogamous relationships can find themselves attracted to other people. I was judging myself dynamically for this. And then on top of that, I found myself attracted to one of my roommates. And I was really confused because here I was with this beautiful, amazing, wonderful, smart, funny man that I was dating. And she also had a boyfriend. And I was found myself being jealous of her boyfriend and having these really confusing emotions coming up. We would be studying next to each other, and I would catch myself looking at her and fantasizing about her and having, moments of like, what's going on? This is really odd. How is this even possible? And so I thought, okay, maybe this is something I need to look at. And I kind of pushed it to the side for many years until I found myself in love with a woman in college. And I realized, oh, this is what I felt for my roommate in high school. Okay. So you get it when you get it. And it took me, unfortunately, it was just two people, but it took me a while. And this was years, over the course of years, for me to realize, oh, wow, I'm attracted to both men and women. And as soon as I realized that, and again, I was once again dating a man and found myself attracted, very much in love with this woman. These two things came out at the same time. I realized, oh, maybe I'm bisexual. And wow, if I can be in love with multiple people, what does that mean? Like, what does that look like? And that was the beginning of my journey to start asking questions about being polyamorous, which is multiple loves, where you actually are in love with and have a romantic affection for more than one person. This was maybe in my early 20s. Now, since then, I've had many conversations about open and poly. You might want to check out the past episode we did about, is polyamory for you? I have a YouTube video about the 5 top myths around open and poly relationships. It's a really nice short video. Is a good reference for people to refer to, because there are a lot of lies around this. And that's what I had to detox over the course of years. And as I was exploring these different relationships, well, what does it mean for me to be interested in men and women? What does it mean for me to be able to be in love with multiple people at the same time? And is it possible for me to truly be committed and have the life I really want with all of these considerations in play? And so one of the things that was a question that was sent in by one of our listeners, thank you so much, was, okay, so here I am, and I'm figuring out that I'm attracted to different genders, but I'm in a loving and committed relationship. How do I honor those feelings while also not freaking out my partner with my identity and me knowing that it's about myself? And it's funny because I struggled with this as well. Thank you so much for sending in the question. And I am fortunate because I also have some of my good friends that consider themselves bisexual or pansexual. And we've talked about this a lot. We fluctuate between having relationships with women and men. One of my close friends considers herself bisexual and is only dated and is currently married for like 20 years now. The only man she's ever been with, the only person she's ever been with, but she recognizes that just because she isn't practicing dating multiple genders, she can still know for herself first, hey, this is what I'm interested in. This is what I gravitate toward. And she actually plays around with it with her husband. Her husband fully knows, respects it. They add it to their fantasy life, to their intimate time. And it's not a matter of one or the other. It doesn't have to look a certain way. Would it contribute to your relationship for your partners to know this aspect of you? For most of us, it's a yes. It's actually, but also to comfort them and be like, this doesn't mean I'm bolting. This doesn't mean that I'm going to cheat on you. I'd like you to know this because I want you to know all of me and then have the chance to love all of me. So that's one of the first steps that I would recommend, but I'm going to give you a couple more tips on that. It's time for our second break of the show. When we return, we will continue to talk about how to come out, how to address some of these different considerations and all these different ways of coming out. You are listening to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, myself, Siris, on the Inspired Choices Network, and we will be right back.
Most people haven't been taught how to listen and partner with their bodies in order to create lives that include clarity, pleasure, ease, and connection. Tuning in to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and resources on how to use your awareness of bodies and energy to your advantage. Siris is a family and child coach and therapeutic energy worker who will guide you to get clear and acknowledge what's brilliant, magical, and a gift about you.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Choosing a Different Future show with Siris. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Connect with Siris through her website, empoweringlightlanguage.com, or send an email to empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Hi, welcome back, everyone. I'm Siris Raquel Rivas-Verdejo on Choosing a Different Future with Siris. And today our show topic is coming out. Okay, so before we went on break, we were discussing one of the questions that were sent in about how to come out as someone who is bisexual or pansexual when you're in a committed relationship with someone of the opposite sex. Thank you again for sending in that question. In addition to what I mentioned before the break, the other things that I would recommend is for you to go to workshops together, go and find maybe a therapist or a coach that is someone that's judgment-free, that creates a judgment-free space for both of you to express your concerns, to express what you'd like to create together. Another thing too is there's certain books and resources that I love. There's this book called Getting By, which is full of stories of different bisexual people around the world and different aspects of them coming out, but also of them living lives with or without partners. And they're really short. Some of them are like a paragraph and some of them are a couple pages. So you can start looking at and having different varied examples of some possibilities for yourself, for you to know that you're not alone, and for your partners to also know that as a partner of someone who's bisexual that maybe doesn't identify in that way themselves, how they can be supported too. Okay, that they are not alone in navigating this, and that it doesn't mean that you aren't capable of being committed, of being loyal, of still being loving toward them. It's how does it look like moving forward, and is it a matter of you staying monogamous with them if that's the dynamic you currently have? I don't want to assume. Or if it's about having conversations around opening up your relationship or having a polyamorous dynamic. And there are resources and books for that as well. Some of them I mentioned in the Is Polyamory for You episode that we did. So definitely check that one out. I also love as well the Love Cast by Dan Savage, the Savage Love Cast. He is a great resource on everything related to relationships and polyamory and open, kinky, you name it. I've been listening to him for over a decade now. His love column, I think, has been going on for like 30 years or something like that. He's written some amazing books that you can explore, a really great resource. And people can, just like with this show, they can call in, they can send in questions, and he can choose to answer them and give some additional resources. But he has an archive of episodes too, going on 30 years worth of archived episodes that you can listen to together, and it can maybe facilitate a conversation with your partner. So definitely recommend Dan Savage's Savage Lovecast. It's been wonderful for me, and definitely listening to it with my partners over the years has also been really a great contribution to facilitate conversations, especially if it's something new for your partner to even be dealing with. Okay. Gosh, thank you. That was a wonderful question. So that gets into some of the other things like the kink. So some of you have checked out I think I did a call a couple of years ago, Kink Your Way. And some people asked questions there that I'm going to bring up today as well. One particular one that I thought would be a contribution to us in our discussion about coming out is someone was asking, it's like, I'm really ashamed. They said, they expressed so much shame about their kinks. And I'm not going to go into the specific kinks that they had, because that's not really the point. People can have kinks about things that I consider to be like basic stuff that isn't even necessarily kinky. And then there can be shame about things that are really rare to find in the world. And yet that's their interest. And they expressed so much shame, and they were wondering how they could possibly have a healthy relationship without having this need met. And one of those things that is really interesting is just because you have a kink doesn't mean that you have to rely on your romantic partner to deliver on that. It really depends on the kink. And so you can share that fetish, that preference, that kink with whoever you're dating, if it would be a contribution for you all to do that. And you know your partner. It's also a matter of how you present it. If you present it in a shameful way and like something that you're hiding, versus like, wow, I'm really excited about this and I really love this. This really gets my ooh ah flow going. It's okay if you're not interested in this, but I want you to know about this because I'd love to explore this either with you, or maybe I can go and see a professional person to address this kink, and go from there. But one of the things that I recommend is, it takes so much energy to keep these things a secret. It may be affecting your intimate time with your partner. They're already like, what's going on here? I feel like something's off. I feel like they're not being as vocal about what they want as I know is possible. Like, it's like they're hiding something from me. So a lot of times my couples that I work with and throuples that I work with will say that as soon as somebody comes out, it's like, oh, they have this sense of relief because it's bringing up for them the very thing that's been like buzzing in their world, where they knew something wasn't quite being addressed, wasn't quite transparent. And now it's out there for them to deal with, instead of distract them and them to make me fill in the blank with something that's not true. Like them thinking that you're cheating on them, or them thinking that you're a pedophile, or them thinking that you're doing a transgression that is totally, like unacceptable to them. Often people, if they're already picking up on that you're hiding something, they will fill in that space with erroneous information. So wouldn't you rather have control over the narrative and you be the one to tell them what's going on, and you have continued conversations about what the implications are of that for your relationship, versus them being unnecessarily anxious and worried? That being said, they may still have concerns after they find out about your kink or your fetish, but then that's when you go and you tap into different resources. There's a really great book I love called Playing Well with Others that has different like comic strips and sections to it I'll see if I can remember to pop in some of these resources in our Facebook page as well. But one of the things that that I love about it is it has, I believe it's a gay man, and it has a heterosexual woman. I believe that's how she identifies, if I remember correctly. Apologize if that's not correct. But they come at it from completely different perspectives. There's these little like spotlights where they're having kind of a mini conversation, and they highlight other people that are other people's stories and experiences. So it's a really fun way to talk about how to bring up and come out as somebody that's kinky in this world, and do it in a way that's honoring of you and also honoring of your current or future partners. So the book is Playing Well with Others. Definitely recommend checking that out. Okay, what else? Man, how much more time do we have here? Okay, there's so much we can talk about. I really had to come out to myself as kinky first. Much like all of these different identities, I was like, oh, is this what this means, that I've been interested in this stuff? Because I was doing it privately and within my monogamous relationships for years. And then I wanted to explore polyamory. And so I was like, all right, well, I didn't realize that this was a possibility. So I would tell people that. It's so funny. Recently, in the last 2-3 years, one of my cousins found me in a polyamory Facebook group. And she saw my posts and she was like, I didn't know you were poly. And I was like, I never hid it. And I introduced you to my girlfriend and my boyfriend when I was in a triad. So what do you think that meant? And that's the other thing, is that even if you come out, people will reframe, delete, forget what you've said over and over again sometimes. And they may need you to come out repeatedly. That's certainly been my experience. I have told people that I'm poly. I've told people that I'm pansexual or bisexual, depending on if they even know what pansexual is, over and over again, because they'll assume, well, you're in this wonderful relationship with this man, so that means you're not interested in the women anymore, right? No, that's not what it means. Or, oh, you're in this great monogamous relationship right now, I don't see you dating anyone else, so that means you're not poly anymore, right? It's like, no, that's not what it means. That just means that currently, right now, I don't have an additional partner. That's not what me and my current partner are choosing. That's it. So, but they'll try to like put you back in the closet, put you back in the box for their comfort. And that's their stuff. Don't make it yours. Okay. And if you're somebody that is doing that for your loved ones, for your kids, for your family and friends, when you're seeing them in the world, I love my really good friends now. They know, hey, so has something changed about you and poly? Is something changed about you and your interests right now? Or is it just you're developing this relationship? Like, what's going on? I really care about you. I really want to make sure that I'm respecting your dynamic. So are there any updates I need to know about? And I just love it when they come at me in such a sweet way like that, instead of assuming, oh, well, this means this now. All of a sudden, you're not what you said you were before. That's a really, really nice way of doing it. And then it shows to the people that you care about that you truly are interested in being an ally and having their back. And also that you just want to genuinely connect with them and know what's going on in their lives, which is not a small thing. It's a beautiful gift you can give to somebody. Okay. Gosh. Okay, we're going to go into some other things here. I'm looking to see where else, because there's some other questions that were sent in. Let me check in the chat too, in our live chat, to see if I'm missing anything, any comments. Okay, great. We're good. We're all caught up there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So the other reason why a lot of people, I find it beneficial, and it was after I came out for me that I looked at this aspect, because I really still recommend for people to come out for themselves, for their own mental and emotional health, for them not to have depleted, energy, not even depleted energy, because there's an infinite amount of energy available to us. But if we think that it's an energy leak, and if we feel like it's taking a lot of energy for us to hide or for us to hold back these aspects of ourselves, then it becomes an energy leak. The other aspect that I really got to over time is that I wanted to be the example and the model that I didn't see in the world to the young people out there. I love that young people have so many possible models for queerness, for bisexuality, pansexuality, for being multiracial. Like, there weren't people that looked like me in the movies I saw growing up, in the cartoons, and the artists that weren't as prevalent. The musicians and things that were really getting a lot of acclaim, they didn't look like me. They didn't speak English and Spanish. They didn't have these same interests as me. And now they exist. And every time I find a different example of that, I'm like, oh my God, I would have loved this so, so much as a kid. And I'm so happy for the young people of the world that they now have that, and it keeps getting more and more and more. So maybe consider coming out to be an example, to be that person that you wished was there for you when you were navigating these different identities. Maybe it's to inspire them. Maybe it's just for them to know that, hey, I'm a safe space for you to talk to message, to see as somebody that it gets better past the bullying, past those really interesting, not so kind conversations from some of our family members at times. It does get better, and stay with it. Don't give up on you. Don't give up on being in this world. The world is better with you in it, and no matter what people are telling you. And I think that that's where I got to over time, is recognizing the power of my influence, and that me showing up and talking about this allows for other people to have more examples and ease of healthy, successful, happy people that are out in all these different ways. So it's time for our next break, everybody. You are listening to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, with myself, Siris, on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we will continue to discuss coming out. We want the world to know, I hope. And we'll be right back.
Most people haven't been taught how to listen and partner with their bodies in order to create lives that include clarity, pleasure, ease, and connection. Tuning in to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and resources on how to use your awareness of bodies and energy to your advantage. Siris is a family and child coach and therapeutic energy worker who will guide you to get clear and acknowledge what's brilliant, magical, and a gift about you. This is the Choosing a Different Future show with Siris. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Connect with Siris through her website, empoweringlightlanguage.com, or send an email to empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
All right. Hi, everybody. So we've been talking about coming out. And I'm Siris Raquel Rivas-Verdejo. We've been having such great questions being sent in. Thank you for that. I've also been mentioning a lot of my personal experiences. One of the other things that I really love to talk about with this is the different resources out there, and really offloading being an example and an inspiration. If you are someone that is multiracial, but you're having kids who are multiracial, or if you're somebody that doesn't consider themselves queer in any way, if you're not part of the LGBTQI community, and yet you have maybe students that are part of that community, or you have a partner that identifies, it just came out to you, or somebody that you're considering dating. Well, one of the things that I love is actually, like we mentioned before the other breaks, reading different books and articles together, is watching different movies that have these themes within it, from multicultural and multilinguistic considerations, multiracial considerations and themes in the movies, to coming out and different LGBTQ friendly movies. Pick them out, curate them, and make sure that there are ones that are sending the message that you'd like to send to your loved ones. Like, and also just have it ones that are, I definitely recommend ones that are comedies too and funny in an honoring way. Not that those people, that the people with those different identities are the butt of the jokes, but that it could be a shared experience. Like, hey, I see you and I see your community. I see your ethnicity, your culture. I respect it. I want to get to know more about it. I'm willing to dedicate myself to educating myself about this. I take what you've said to me seriously. It's really fun. I love Todrick Hall is great for anybody, great dance music. And also if you watch Todrick Hall's music videos, how he plays around with gender is really an inspiration for anybody, no matter how you identify. I love all these different movies. I could name a bunch of them. Some of the ones that really helped me out were one specifically where I actually got to see people in love, truly healthy in love in same-sex relationships. I didn't really have anybody that was like that before me coming out in my family. And now I have a trans male cousin, I have a lesbian cousin, I have poly cousins, which they're not sure how they identify with their sexual orientation, but at least relationship wise, they're poly. And all of this, many of them have acknowledged that me coming out set the way for them, the path for them to feel safe in doing that. And I don't think that's a small thing. I didn't really get the power of that until only a couple of years ago. And I'm so glad I did, because when I first came out as bisexual and then it shifted to pansexual, I remember I talked to my mom and we were sitting in our kitchen, or maybe it was I remember the window more than anything and the light shining on us while we were sitting next to each other. And I was so nervous and my voice was quivering. And I was so worried because y'all see my relationship with my mom. She's been this supportive, amazing person my whole life. And yet when somebody's coming out, it still takes a lot of bravery. And for them to be nervous, it's not really about you. Even if you have provided a safe space for them, they may be nervous because there are a lot of people who have loving parents that all of a sudden, when they come out to them for all the different ways that they could come out, are trying to put them in conversion camps and counseling and trying to fix them and save them and going into that. And we actually have a call coming up about fixing, saving, helping mentality. Check that out. But fortunately, my mom was really quiet. I could see she was processing stuff. She said that she loved me. It's really important to tell your people, I love you no matter what, that nothing has changed. You are the same person that you were before you came out to me. The only thing I would have liked that she didn't do is she was very worried about my family's response, my extended family's response, and she told me not to tell certain family members. And I don't recommend you telling anybody not to tell somebody else. If they want to tell the person, they can. It's up to them. And I get where it came from. It wasn't malicious on her part. She was very worried about their response and about how it would affect me and vice versa. And I actually, if anything, it made me want to tell that person even more. And I did. I gave them a month or so and I told them, and it was my grandmother. My grandmother that just passed away June of 2022, who I was very, very close to, and one of my favorite people on the planet. And she took it way better than my mom thought she would. And now with all my other family members who've been coming out, she's softened, she's learned, she's been more accepting. And I think that's what happens. The more exposure and conversations we have, the more it can create for us all. So just some of those considerations. I also want to mention a podcast called The Impactful Parent that just did a really great panel discussion with 3 different parents that I really loved. You should check out if you are a parent who has a child in the LGBTQ community and you'd like some ideas and tips on how to do that. So that podcast is The Impactful Parent. And I'm actually going to be a guest on that podcast in the coming months. So be on the lookout for that. All right. Next week, we're going to have a wonderful guest. It's Rebecca Arce and JB Atkins. We're going to be talking about learning to read your body to heal. So check that out. It's going to be a really amazing discussion. Hope you can join us. Until next time.
Thank you for listening to the Choosing a Different Future show. Siris returns Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Mountain, and 7 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, keep choosing what will work for you and your body, your own unique way honoring what will work for you.